It's time for Around the Ozarks News, brought to you by the Springfield-Greene County Park Board, Blue Current, and Thompson Sales. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads. Hey guys, not Ethan and Sarah Foreheads here. I'm Grace, the Around the Ozarks brand manager, and Ethan and Sarah are on vacation this week, and I have the lovely Joy Robertson here with me this morning to help me out. Hi, Joy.
Hi, you get up very early, but I'm good with this. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Let's get into some news this Monday morning. An Illinois man is behind bars after he delayed the Morgan Wallen concert at Arrowhead Stadium by 40 minutes with threats to shoot two Kansas City Chiefs players. Aaron Brown, 23, of Winchester, Illinois, has been charged with a Class E felony for making a terroristic threat in the second degree. The court records indicated that Brown allegedly threatened via X, which is formerly Twitter, to shoot two members of the Kansas City Chiefs organization who were at the Friday night concert at Arrowhead. The defendant confirmed to police where he was located, and the concert was delayed for 40 minutes while they located him. It's unclear from reports which players were targeted, but Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones were all in attendance that night, and they escorted Wallen onto the stage. So, I mean, that is terrifying. I mean, you got to take those threats super seriously. So I'm glad that they did, and they made sure everyone was safe, but that is super scary.
Yeah, thank goodness it was only a threat. Yeah.
Yes, and they were able to.
There, sure. Okay, I have some news for you, and this is very sad news. Many of you probably heard this over the weekend. Springfield businessman and philanthropist Sam Hamra died. His son Mike announced this Saturday on Facebook. Sam Hamra, of course, a plethora of honors over his years here. He had a Key to the City honor in 2022, named Springfieldian of the Year back in 2018. He was an attorney and a restaurateur, owned Hamra Enterprises, operates more than 150 restaurants. Mayor Ken McClure said this about Sam. Sam was a community builder and expressed his love for Southwest Missouri by continually contributing to the Springfield area, which is so true. He helped found Legal Services of Southwest Missouri, which provides legal services to people who can't afford it otherwise. Sam Hamra and his family founded this Hamra Enterprises way back in 1975. They operated Wendy's, Panera, and noodle company restaurants all across the country. It was nothing to see he and his lovely wife, June, at every last community event in the Ozarks for decades and decades, and he will certainly be missed, particularly for all of the goodwill he has brought forth to the Ozarks and all the philanthropy he has provided, and just great people. A big loss for the Ozarks, but what a life. What a life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's crazy looking at all the stuff, because I knew that they had owned the Wendy's, but I didn't realize they owned all those other things and all the stuff he had done. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Ozarks Lunkers season is officially over. They did lose their game on Saturday night against the Duluth Harbor Monsters, but they did post this on their Facebook page. They said, first and foremost, congratulations to our opponents. They brought a fight and intensity at every matchup, and they earned and deserved the opportunity to compete. And then to the Lunkers fans, this was obviously a disappointing way for us to end the season, but we are so proud and grateful. Our players never quit. Our boys fought through injury, gave to every single game, and our fans also never quit. Thank you. And then the future is bright for the Ozarks Lunkers. So unfortunate, but I mean, it was their first season, so they did pretty well for what it is, you know.
Have you been to a game yet?
I did. I went once. Yeah. I went with my sister and my brother-in-law, and he's a football coach, so he was all into it. So I don't know a lot about sports. I'm just there to enjoy the concession stand, you know, but it was really fun.
It's fun, and the new Wilson Logistics Arena is really cool too. So it's
really nice.
And yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, but support the Lunkers next season. It's a lot of fun for sure. Okay, you may or may not have heard, Election Day is tomorrow, Tuesday, August 6th. Polls will be open as usual, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now, some of the things on the ballot include all sorts of things. All right, primaries, state and federal races, the U.S. Senate, U.S. House Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State, Treasurer, Attorney General, State House, and Senate. Now, Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott faces his first challenger since 2008, Ben McMains, who is a former resource officer with the Fairgrove School District. Okay, Logan Rogersville Fire Protection District, Mid-County Fire Protection District, and the Monette Fire Protection District, all asking for tax levy increases. The entire state will decide on all sorts of initiatives, including there's one for funding the Kansas City Police Department and the elimination of property taxes for child care operators. We've seen commercial after commercial after
over and over and over.
over and over, and people, do your homework. Don't vote based on a commercial. Okay, take a minute.
Correct.
Check out the candidates. Anyway, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow morning, so be sure to get out and vote.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and it's an election year. Like, it's those commercials are everywhere. So
and it ain't over.
It's not even over. Yeah. Yes, this is just the first of many.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Tomorrow night is National Night Out. So if you've never heard of that, National Night Out is a free citywide event that brings together law enforcement, health and safety organizations, and neighborhood groups for a night of safety education and fun activities for the whole family. So activities, depending on your city, because it is different per city, they can include food, music, cool emergency vehicles to see, canines, and fun kids activities. So the list that we've got so far of cities that are participating is Springfield, West Plains, Nixa, Sparta, Willard, Battlefield, and Bolivar. So if your town was listed there, go ahead and check with your local police department. Either call them up or you can check on their social media pages to see more info about your city. So that's super fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, they do these all over the country, and I think it's a great idea to put together, And anyway, as we get ready to head back to school, speaking of, I've got one for all the teachers out there. Okay, so listen up. The History Museum on the Square is going to host a Meet the Museum Educators Evening. That's coming up on Saturday, August 17th from 5 to 7 p.m. It is free for all you educators. All regional K through 12 and homeschool educators are invited to enjoy this free evening at the museum to learn about the History Museum on the Square's education programming and resources for educators. There are lots of them. You can get to know more about their field trips, their educational trunks, Meet Missouri program, and more. There are all sorts of things that they have going on there. And again, it is an educator-only event. Keep that one in mind. No additional guests, please. All attendees need to be prepared to share contact information at the door for free admission. And once again, that is Saturday, August 17th from 5 until 7 p.m. You have a little time to plan. By the way, the History Museum has a really cool exhibit right now on historic hotels. Which, if you're looking for something to do, that's a lot of fun. So, so that's one for teachers.
Yeah, I need to get out there more because I'm super intrigued by, I follow one of the Facebook pages that posts all the old pictures of Springfield, and it's just insane how much the square has changed over the past 100 years.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy. I love all of that.
I know. And all the things that happened on the square back in the day.
For real.
When you look around and you think of the history that's happened here and how far we've come, So, yeah, check out the History Museum.
Yes. And speaking of that, of the history around Springfield, the birthplace of Route 66 Festival is actually this weekend. Wow. So that's a super big one. It starts on Thursday night, the 8th, and then it's all day on Friday and Saturday. The parade is Friday evening. It starts at 6 at Grant Avenue, and it kind of travels through downtown, and it'll end on National. So it will trail all the way through there. The festival activities are all free, including a car motorcycle show and all the music performances. And then there's going to be vendors everywhere as well. So there's a bunch of food, drinks, merchandise. I know in the Shrine, they've got, they usually have vendors set up in there too. So there's plenty of stuff to do for everybody on those days.
Yeah, all over downtown. Bring your walking shoes because you're going to need to do a lot of walking. But there's there are shuttle buses from different places. I think there's something going on at the old glass place. And there's music just everywhere.
Everywhere all the time.
Yeah. Lots of food trucks.
Sure.
It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Definitely.
Hey, I've got one also. Ethan and Sarah have been mentioning this recently. This coming Friday, the 9th, is Around the Ozarks night at the Springfield Cardinals game. The theme is the ultimate date night. Okay, there's a ticket package available for $65 plus tax per couple. And that includes the following: 2 tickets to the game, dinner and dessert. There's a pasta buffet on the right field patio prior to the game. So that would be fun. One adult beverage per person, a rose from Lily's Floral. Couples can upgrade for $10 to add a game used baseball and special access to watch the fireworks on the field after the game, which we all know how fun fireworks are. Yeah. Now, one lucky couple who signs up for the upgraded package will also be drawn to win special seating for the night. You can end the night with romantic fireworks, of course, presented by Around the Ozarks. In addition, that night is the Vision Clinic John Goodman bobblehead giveaway. So get in line early for that one, which I think will be really cool. But it's going to be a fun night at the Springfield Cardinals. So go enjoy that courtesy of Around the Ozarks.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know which one yet, but either Ethan or Sarah will be throwing out the first pitch. So I don't know how. I think we're going to, I don't know, make them do rock, paper, scissors or something to figure out who it's going to be. But that'll be exciting. We'll see what happens.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then also speaking just of Around the Ozarks in general, it is our last week of our anniversary contest. So if you didn't know, it's actually been 2 years since we've launched Around the Ozark News with Ethan and Sarah, and it's been 1 year of Wake Up Weather with Abby Dyer. So we've got a really good contest for that. All you have to do is go to aroundtheozarks.com to sign up, and then one lucky winner will get $50 to Jim's Steakhouse, $50 to the Alamo Draft House, and a 4-pack of passes to Wonders of Wildlife. That's 2 adult and 2 kids, 1-day admissions. So that's a pretty big prize, and I'm pretty excited about it.
That's a good one. Well, it's a good way to celebrate, too. So, congrats to all of this, because it's been such a big hit, and Ethan and Sarah are great, and get your news real quick, and it's great. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. I can't believe that it's already been 2 years, but
I know.
Speaking of all Around the Ozark stuff, while we're still on the subject, Joy here has started a podcast since she's last been a co-host on here. So, Joy, tell us a little bit about Savor the Ozarks.
Yeah, Ethan and Sarah have been at this for 2 years. I've been at it for 5 minutes. But anyway, it's, I'm a big foodie. That's the one thing about being a foodie. You can only eat so much, but I love getting out, and I love really hearing the backstory of all the restaurateurs and the chefs and the people who have it in them to open a business and make people so happy with food and drink. So Savor the Ozarks is about getting to know sort of the backstory about the people who open these places up and how they come up with their menus, how they got started in the business, what have been their challenges, what do they when they're not at work? Do they cook at home? Nothing's off limits. Everything's on the table, so to speak. So, so I'm enjoying it. We've got 4 down, and, we'll see who's up this week, this Friday. We drop one every Friday.
Yeah. I listened to last week's with Nearly Famous, and I've never been there. And as soon I know, everyone's telling me their egg salad sandwich is amazing and their tomato soup. And then I listen to I'm like, okay, now I feel like I've missed out on. They've been open longer than I've been alive, and I'm just over here. We're gonna have to go now. So
Nancy Miller's great. When you walk in the door, she's 99.9% of the time she's right there.
Yeah.
And, some of the wait staff have been there for decades, and the food is just consistently good, and we'll go. I'll take you. You'll love it.
Okay. That sounds
they're all so good, and they all bring, we are very lucky to live in a place that has some incredible restaurants and really forward-thinking chefs. So I have a long way to go every Friday. Yeah.
You've got a whole list laid out in front of you, don't you?
A lot of food in front of me. That's right.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this Monday morning. So thank you, Joy, for joining me.
Thank you,
and
Grace.
yes, you guys will have me all week, and maybe Joy again tomorrow. So thank you for listening. Yeah. Thank you for listening, and have a great Monday. It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Scooters Coffee and Rescue Towing. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for starting off your work week here at Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. I'm meteorologist Abby Dyer. And I am here to get you ready for the week. It's going to be a hot one across the Ozarks. As of 5 a.m., temperatures are starting out near 70 degrees this morning. And I've got a high temperature of 96 degrees today, feeling more like 100 through most of the daytime hours. So it's going to be another scorcher. Prepare for the heat. Not a whole lot happening in terms of sky cover. It's going to be mostly sunny across the Ozarks today. Not much wind to help cool us off. Above normal temperatures, though, are in the forecast today, and that's going to last through Tuesday and Wednesday of this week as well. Here's a look at the surface map, and we are watching some activity down in the southeastern portion of the country. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, all experiencing impacts from what will be Debbie, making impacts already in the state of Florida with torrential downpours, too much rain, and that's all going to be moving up the East Coast as we head through the work week forecast. In contrast, here in the middle part of the country, things are nice and quiet. We have high pressure in control. That means sinking air for us, a lot of sunshine on deck for us over the next couple of days. Heat index values, I have them running anywhere from 100 to 105. That's today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. Actual temperatures may approach 100 tomorrow. I think Tuesday is the hottest day of the work week. Then we start to see numbers back off a bit. A cold front is actually going to come through by the middle of the week. It will pass as what we call a dry cold front, meaning no moisture is coming with it, no rainfall for us, but we will see a wind shift and a cool down for the second half of the work week. Today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, though, are looking hot. I have 96 for the high temperature forecast in Springfield today, closer to 98 on Tuesday. By the time we get to Wednesday, I think those 96-degree temperatures are back. It is just going to be a hot stretch here today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. So if you have to be outdoors, remember all of our heat safety rules we were talking about last week. They apply this week, even though we don't have those heat headlines from the National Weather Service. It is still going to be dangerously hot with a little bit of relief in the forecast for the evening and overnight hours, but we're only falling to near 70. So when you start that warm, it's just not much chance for relief in the overnights. We have cooler temperatures, though, that should be in place for the second half of the work week, as well as the weekend. I see a cool down in our future there. However, even with the cooler temperatures, there's not going to be much of a rain chance in the forecast. Little to no rain in the Ozarks for the next 7 days. I don't think we see a whole lot of moisture at all. Compare that with the East Coast that's going to see just too much all at once. And all of that is from that tropical system, Debbie, bringing tons of rainfall to the state of Florida, many of the beachy areas for the Carolinas, all the way from the panhandle of Florida back up through about Myrtle Beach, expecting excessive rainfall. So all of our friends taking some late summer vacations, trying to get those in before school starts back up. If you're heading to the southeast, it's going to be messy in a few parts. Tropical storm Debbie bringing hazards to Florida and much of the southeast. We also have multiple hazards unfolding already in the state of Florida. There's torrential rain, there's dangerous rip currents, increasing winds, and life-threatening storm surge on the way as some of that water makes its way inland. Tornadoes and flash flooding are also going to be in the headlines here, as tropical systems often bring severe weather. That will also be the case this time. And of course, the excessive rain all the way from the panhandle back up through Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's going to be just kind of a mess for many of our friends on the East Coast. So we'll be watching that and hearing about that in the national headlines over the next several days. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister Trivia question for the day. This is the question that I left you with yesterday. What is a popular theory for why men and women's buttons on their clothes are often on opposite sides? And the options that I left you with were A, it makes them easily identifiable. B, the tradition started from an honest mistake. C, it helped servants dress women. Or D, the tradition started with Christianity. Well, if you guessed C, you would be correct. The tradition of buttons on men and women's clothing being on opposite sides may have originated from the custom of wealthy women being dressed by servants who were likely right-handed. Buttoning clothing right over left have made it easier for them to dress their employer. This tradition may have been influenced by social standing, as buttons were expensive and they could only be worn by the upper class people in Europe during the 14th century. I did always wonder that, but I guess it makes sense, and I guess it kind of stuck once we started doing it that way. It was like, well, they're opposite, so they will be now forever. All right, here's your next chance to win $20 to Scooter's Coffee. What is the world's most expensive spice? Do you think it is A, saffron, B, nutmeg, C, cloves, or D, black pepper? Which one of those do you think is the world's most expensive spice? If you would like to enter our trivia brain twister question, you can do so for free over at the website. That's aroundtheozarks.com. Just make sure you enter your guess there, and we will enter all correct guesses to win that $20 gift card to Scooter's Coffee every single day this week for a new giveaway. While you're at the website, just a reminder, we're also running that fun anniversary contest for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather and Around the Ozarks with Ethan and Sarah Foreheads. Make sure you enter that contest as well. While you're on the website, you could win tickets to Alamo Draft House, dinner to Jim's Steakhouse, as well as passes to Wonders of Wildlife. So a pretty awesome giveaway going on also on the website to celebrate our anniversaries. It's about the 1-year anniversary here at Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. Thanks so much for starting your week with me, and I will chat with you again early tomorrow morning.